Welcome back to Needle Me This. Today I've got Teresa back in the chair, returning client, mental health clinician, working with youth and teens, anime nerd, Zelda enthusiast, and someone who somehow balances heavy work with a really grounded sense of humor. This is our second session together. We're finishing a candlestick we started last time and talking about where the rest of the sleeve is headed. Teresa, go ahead and introduce yourself before I butcher your resume.
Hi, my name is Teresa. You could have pretty much covered it all with my work. From Idaho, been living in New York for 6 years. And been working on this sleeve since 2016. Never really intended for it to be a sleeve, but here we are. It's sort of been a patchwork project. Yeah.
Awesome. So how does it feel to be back for round two?
I am ready to go. I've been looking forward to see this candlestick come to life and just get this rolling here with more color.
Yeah, we love our colors. Last time we did a couple flowers up in the bicep and around the elbow. That was a good time, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, elbow was real crispy.
It's all healed now, all settled, and that's what we love to see. Did you think about this tattoo much between sessions?
No. I don't put a lot of thought into my choices, it seems. But it always works out.
And why do you say that?
I mean, I've only regretted one tattoo so far. Obviously, none of which have been done by you. So, and I think at the end of the day, looking back on the art, I can assign meaning to it even if there isn't any going into it at first. So I think that's what's important.
Yeah. What's different about today compared to last time?
Going in with a plan.
We outlined this candlestick last time, and we got the color study done and everything during a little break after the elbow because we needed a second to recover. Mm-hmm. And I was looking back at it, and it made me super excited because I kind of forgot about the colors we chose. But then I was looking at it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be fun."
Oh yeah.
How's your nervous system doing right now?
Doing okay, honestly. Yeah. I'm not excited for the top part here. I hate the wrist. It's the absolute worst.
It's not a fun time.
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
Not at all.
What's been taking up most of your mental space lately?
Oh my gosh, the kids I work with. It's going into the holidays is always a rough time. Schools come into a close. Some people don't have places to go with the holidays, and difficulties at home. So trying to navigate that while also keeping myself balanced and figure out what I'm doing for the holidays. So, yeah.
You want to talk about your work for a second? What kind of company you work with? Are you in a school? What type of people you work with?
It's a community-based mental health program. I work with 2 other clinicians, and then the 3 of us serve about 30 clients right now on a rotating schedule. We also work with clinical support staff who help with school and vocational skills, and a nurse practitioner. So all of us work together. We go out into the community, whether that's at their schools, their homes, meeting them in a library or somewhere else public. A lot of the kids like to go out in nature, which is my forte, so I'm really into the nature therapy piece. And we just talk about life and struggles and how to get through them.
So you're just going out into like the woods or some shit
and
doing therapy sessions?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it gets sketchy sometimes, but no, it's a good time, and I do feel like I'm doing something that's having an impact.
Oh yeah, I almost went down the mental health journey and becoming a counselor and therapist and stuff, and then tattooing was just like, nah, pick me.
Yeah.
So it's been something I've enjoyed though, and I feel like I can take advantage of my sessions and talk through some things that other people probably don't have the mental capacities to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very thankful for the knowledge I have gained.
Well, and the other thing with your role is even though your primary is doing the tattoos, you can still sort of have that counseling aspect in a way. I mean, a lot of stuff comes out in these sessions, I'm sure, especially the longer ones. So,
yep.
And your repeat clients too, building that relationships. That's really what counseling is all about. Building those relationships, building trust, helping people feel comfortable and coming back every time.
Yeah, I agree. The comfortability is something that I've been working on this whole year, and I feel like I've been able to achieve the experience I've been aiming for, which makes me super happy.
Yes.
Walk me through the candlestick. Why this piece?
I've always liked candlesticks. I've always kind of liked the vintage vibe of them. And at the time, the idea was kind of spurred by your interest in the more dark, gothic, pastel stuff. Victorian era, I think is what you called it.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, maybe a candlestick sort of fits that vibe. And I wanted more black, and that's what I got. So, but also with big splashes of color overlaying that. Also, I guess the candlestick can sort of mean a few different things depending on your cultural or spiritual beliefs. Like, I think last time I mentioned the Buddhist belief that at the end of life, it's like a candle going out, and then there's nothing. But then there's also, you can argue the opposite with like the start of life, it all takes is one flame to light many candles. So it all starts somewhere and it all ends somewhere.
How did you know that it belonged on your body?
Honestly, it was mostly just a placement, logistical strategy.
Which is fine. I think the way you're building your arm, it helps to tell the story a little bit more. And I like that you still brought in some sort of meaning into your spiritual beliefs and stuff.
I think it helps that it's like at the beginning and at the top of the arm, and it sort of lights the way for the rest of the things going up. So that could also be a way to look at the placement too.
Yeah, I really like that idea. How does it feel seeing it come together after starting it last session?
It's definitely further along than I expected it to be at this point in time, and I'm happy to see things sort of being added. It's a little weird though too, looking into the mirror, because this time of year I'm wearing nothing but long sleeve shirts.
Right.
So on the rare occasion that I'm wearing like a t-shirt or something, it's like, whoa, look at all that ink. So I think next summer, like spring, summer, it's really gonna kick in. Like, whoa, I really do have a lot of ink on this arm right now.
Right. Do you think the tattoos feel different when they're part of a bigger sleeve versus standalone?
I don't know if I feel that yet, because this is sort of my first dip into the sleeve territory. I think once it's like completely done, then I might feel differently about it. I still feel like right now they're apart enough that they feel individual.
Mm-hmm. What did you listen to or watch on your way here?
Lots of Sleep Token. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been listening to since May.
I feel like the Sleep Token's been like a big boom. Like a lot of people have been getting their logo on them or something. Maybe lyrics. I don't know. I feel like I've been seeing it everywhere now.
I can't stop buying the t-shirts, so there's that.
I love buying some merch. Merch makes me feel so good. Different kind of way of supporting your favorite artists and such without needing to drop a shit ton of money.
True.
All right, so we're going to get into this, and we will see you in part 2.
Part 2.
Welcome back to part 2. So you work with youth and teens. What's something people misunderstand about that work?
That it's not about fixing the kid. It's a system. The family is a system. A lot of parents are under the belief that we can take a kid out of the system, fix them, and then put them back, and everything will be perfect and good and magically better. But if the family isn't willing to engage in the treatment process or make any changes themselves, it's like, fixing one part of the machine, but then the rest of it doesn't work.
Right.
So, yeah, which is why we work with the families as well. So it's not just about the kid. Like, yes, the kid was the one referred to the program, but we're working with them in navigating their environment and also working with their caregivers in finding ways to be more in sync with each other as well. A lot of it is communication skills.
What people struggle with day in and day out. I don't understand why. It's not that hard to use your words.
Tech and like social media and those sorts of things have really played a role, especially like post-pandemic. The social scene is just radically changed.
Agreed.
I mean, you go out just even as an adult, and it's so much different now than it was prior to the pandemic. And a lot of parents feel, it's difficult to manage children, so let's throw a tablet or a phone or something on their lap and not deal with it. Mm-hmm. But what happens is that they sort of sink into this world, this digital world that's not exactly real. And it starts to shape their identities, it starts to shape their beliefs and the way that they interact with each other and the world. So we're seeing that in like the school space too, of just teachers having difficulty getting kids to pay attention in class and engage. And with the New York State's new policy of no phones in schools. That's really been.
Well, that was a New York State policy?
At least as far as I'm aware, all of the schools of the kids I work with have this policy in place. And it looks a little different everywhere you go, but...
My hometown school, that was this year that they also adapted that, and like it was literally like they have boxes at the beginning of the day, and you walk in, you have to drop your phone in the box, and I was like, if I was in school right now,
it's intense.
I'd be suspended too.
Yeah, it's intense. A lot of kids just lie and say, I don't have a phone. It's in their bag. If you get caught with it, it's basically just like detention, or if it's like multiple violations or whatever, it will be like in-school suspension or something like that. But I don't know. There's arguments for and against it, but at the end of the day, it's like, it just goes back to the communication piece. A lot of people are communicating via like Discord and text messages and Snapchat and Instagram and not really talking in person.
So I love like FaceTime. Like I feel a lot of my friends get annoyed with me and I know it, but like I'm always FaceTiming.
There's so much nonverbal communication you miss when you don't have that interpersonal communication.
I agree 100%. That's also why I like Snapchat, because like you can just, it's like you see the person's face, you get the expression behind it, you can talk, add text, like Snapchat's like my favorite form of communication.
I love that.
What's something kids are actually really good at that adults forget?
I think they're resourceful and creative, and it's about like helping them tap into that. Sometimes they get overwhelmed and feel like they can't go to caregivers or like entrust their feelings with other people, and sometimes we set the tone for that too. So I think it's just about showing that these kids are developing and trying to figure out the world and their space in it, and finding creative ways to sort of navigate tumultuous times. Really, like nothing's really calmed down since the pandemic. I mean, there's other issues that have sort of popped up, and a lot of people feel like, oh, I gotta shelter my kid from all the dangers of the world, but then that just sets them up for failure later on. Like they need a little bit of adversity, but at the same time, it's like, how can we encourage them to tap into their resources and their supports and utilize resources that are available to them, whether that's like therapy or school resources or just local resources too. I think kids are really willing to try things if given the correct amount of encouragement and motivation.
How do you emotionally separate work from home?
Well, at the end of the day, I get to go home and spend time with my pets and my partner, and I don't have kids of my own, so it's not like going to work and working with a bunch of other people's kids and then coming home and dealing with my own. So that's sort of a stark difference for me. But also just like creating boundaries with like my clients and my coworkers, and turning off the work phone at the end of the night.
Say it louder for the people in the back. Boundaries.
The boundaries are super important. My workplace uses Teams, and I mean, I will stay on after hours sometimes because, I start my day later. I am not a 9 to 5. Like, I'm salaried 9 to 5, but I don't get to work till 1. And my supervisor's okay with it. I mean, there's a rare occasion where I might need to get in there at the right time, but I usually go in at 10. So I'll give an extra hour at the end of the night, like attending to like messages and stuff that may have been missed, or updating people if I have an end of day thing. And if they don't see it that night, it's fine. They'll see it the next day. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's like really good to tune into the after hours chat because it's very entertaining. We get a little unhinged in there sometimes. And my supervisor's always like, just be careful because you never know when IT is going to do an audit. They look for keywords and stuff, but she's also super chill because I was like, well, I hope the F word's not a keyword because I've used it several times today. And she's like, I'd have been fired 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, valid. So, yeah, so like I use that as a space to sort of like vent a little bit with people who are doing the work and understand, but then also knowing when to turn it off. And then I just, obviously, like, I'm really into, like, the games and stuff, so it's funny when I get home, I'll just turn on, like, YouTube, and what I've been watching lately is a lot of, like, the Minecraft horror mod videos, like, other people playing Minecraft with horror mods, because I won't do it. Like, I hate playing horror games. I love watching them. It's very different when you're the person behind the screen.
No, 100%. I used to love watching people play Friday or Five Nights at Freddy's, but like as soon as you're playing it, it's like
it's different. And same with Slender Man.
Especially VR. Like, have you played in VR?
No, and I never could. Minecraft is already eerie enough without adding a horror mod. But yeah, so that's how I unwind right now. I turn on the horror mod. So, but it's funny. It's fun. So yeah. And other nights I'll like play volleyball or do other things. So I do have activities I like to do like for self-care and just finding other ways to unwind. Getting out of the house is helpful too.
Something I honestly struggle with. I feel like I make myself so busy all the time, and then it's like I tell myself I want to go out and do more things, and then the day just gets away.
Yeah. Or you're just too energy drained at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been interacting with people all day, that can be taxing, even if those experiences are positive. It's just a lot of socialization.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're introverted, like social engagement is not energizing the way it is for an extrovert. So getting that home time might be what self-care looks like for that person.
I'm really enjoying hearing how everybody does their own sort of self-cares and stuff throughout these episodes. It's kind of one of my favorite things. I can kind of snag some ideas that they've been doing and traveling things. Like the last episode with Brittany, we were talking about grounding herself and how she, like, will, if she's overwhelmed in any way, she will just take off her shoes, whether she's home, outside, whatever, and then just make sure her feet are planted. And that helps her just like ground herself in like an overwhelming situation type thing.
That's so awesome.
And she also went into like talking about like overwhelming a different sense if you are in one of those stages. So like if you just like are like super anxious, like you can't get over it, you can't get out of your head type thing, then just like grab a piece of candy that's like super sour.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
the sour like brings you back. And I was like, see, I've heard about like grounding in general and stuff, but
That's interesting.
I've never heard the sour one.
If it's excess energy, another strategy is shaking, and it's sort of like in the realm of play therapy. And it's simple. Like if you have this, you need to have a little bit of physical space. It's kind of hard to do if you're like sitting down or like in a car or something. You can do it, but it's more limited. But it's really just like shaking. You can start with the hands, like really shake them out. Get your arms and elbows involved, get your torso involved, do some head banging, stuff like that. It's really helpful if you have a song that gets you hyped up or like makes you feel really good to have that on in the background and just sort of rock out. Yeah. And it's a way of physically releasing energy from the body. And then afterward, doing a few deep breaths just to bring yourself back and grounding yourself. Trying the Brittany strategy too in combination with that. Like it's a good way to just bring things down if it's feeling like it's too much.
What helps you decompress after a heavy day?
I hate to say it, but weed. I mean, if I'm able to, yeah. But physical activity, definitely. I'm lucky to have several opportunities a week to play volleyball. I have a gym that's 5 minutes down the road from my house, so that's a great way. If it's not exercise, sometimes just listening to music that I really enjoy or makes me, like, take me back to, like, certain memories in time or something. Snuggling with the cats and dog, of course, always is great. Maybe even, like, just taking a hot shower and having a nice hot cup of tea and just sitting and just doing absolutely nothing. It is perfectly okay to just check out sometimes. A lot of people feel guilty, like, oh, I need to be productive. I can't just sit there. And it's almost like more anxiety provoking to just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
But I learned this week that it only takes your body 90 seconds to process any emotion. It's the mind that you have to train. So if you can sit there and set a timer for yourself for 1.5 minutes and just sit there with it, it will pass. And maybe you need a little bit longer than that, but that could be one way to sit with the discomfort of relaxing. It's something I've struggled with for a long time too. It's definitely easier said than done, but
right, like you like just sit there and want to enjoy a TV show, and your brain's just like, you could be doing this, you could be doing this.
Yep, and then shame comes in and is like, yeah, why? You know you should be relaxing. Why are you feeling bad about this? And then it's like, oh, now I'm feeling bad about feeling bad. Like,
right.
It's just compounding. So, yeah, multifaceted for sure.
What's something that your job has taught you about yourself?
Quite a few things. I'm definitely like, some of my strengths are like, I'm really good at organizing. I really like sort of like task-oriented stuff, and I don't like things that have like drawn out deadlines and stuff like that. If I can do it, in a matter of time, get it done during the morning part of the day, like, and then move on and do my client stuff for the rest of the day, that works for me. Also, that not everybody is meant to be a parent. And I've always known that I didn't want to have kids, but working with them has sort of reinforced that. Like, it's just a lot. It's a huge responsibility. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to work with them and then be able to go home at the end of the night and just have my own peace.
Right.
So that has not changed my mind about reproduction at all.
I'm right with you there.
Yeah, I think also, like, one thing my job has taught me is that it's important to be passionate about the work you're doing, because if you don't care about the work you're doing, going to work is going to be such a drag every single day, and it's going to be hard to do it, and it's going to be really easy to burn out. And even in jobs that you do care about and feel passionate about, you can still burn out. So it's important to, like we were talking about earlier, building those communication skills and being able to share that with supervisors or colleagues, and just be able to say that you need a break. And also be able to admit it to yourself too, because
that's the hardest part.
Yeah, if you can't admit it to yourself, you can't admit it to anyone. So that is why I'm taking some time off for the holidays. I don't necessarily celebrate Christmas anymore, but I'm still taking the time, and I'm going to spend time with family, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything for Christmas either.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
Trying to relax.
Big try. How did anime and Zelda become such a big part of your world?
I think Zelda's always been a big part of it. I grew up with Nintendo games, and I also was very musically inclined from a very young age, and Zelda is a series that really emphasizes music across almost all of the games in the series. And so that sort of reinforced that and stuck with me. I can listen to old Zelda soundtracks and just be taken back in time. It's pretty cool. And I also love the lore around it. I didn't really get into anime until my early 20s. My brother was into it. He's younger than me, and he started watching when he was in high school. I had recommended a few, but I wasn't really into it. And during the pandemic, I had a bunch of time. So started watching Naruto, and then Death Note, and then Bleach. And it just went from there, and I really got into it, and it's pretty much all I watch anymore. Now, like if I go back to like normal or like regular reality TV shows, it's just doesn't do it for me.
Right.
I can watch a movie here and there, but most of the time it's just anime. I think it's a really interesting way to storytell, and you can do a lot with animation that you just can't do with live action. And so I think I appreciate the art of it too, and just seeing different art styles across the animes, especially across like the decades too, as technology has changed. But anime and Zelda are still both like very front and center in my life, and it's hard to get me to cry. But anime and Zelda always do it. I don't know how, but just tickles all the right parts of my brain.
No, I feel that. I'm also very difficult to get crying. Like, generally it's got to be like an animal death or
something like tragic, yeah.
Right. Even if it's like just in the movie, like animals dying, it's like.
Yep.
But I agree that anime is just, especially if you're watching the ones that like really hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Naruto, like Neji just died again.
Yeah.
The 100th time for me, and I was just like, oh no, Neji.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I think the first scene that I can remember from Naruto that made me cry was when Gaara came back to the village after being kidnapped by the Akatsuki, and just the enormous warm welcome he got.
Right.
And like just after suffering his whole life and having a father who like hated him, like I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. Like I could not stop the tears.
Gaara's always been one of my favorites.
Yes. I always like the dark characters in Naruto. Like Gaara and Pain and just...
Uchigaru.
Yeah. And their stories, it's just so cool. And I don't feel like I connect the same way with characters in in live action shows as much. I mean, I definitely do. Like when I was watching those shows, I could, but I haven't rewatched any of those sorts of shows. I can rewatch anime all day though.
Same, it's definitely my background stuff anytime I'm doing anything. Especially Naruto, because I've seen it so many times. I just gotta hear what's going on. I'm like, oh no.
Did you watch it in English?
If I'm doing a background, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I do like doing the Japanese
if you're sitting down to watch it.
Giving myself time to relax, yeah.
Yeah, Naruto is one of those ones that, like, I actually prefer the English of
Honestly,
the show.
same.
But I think also maybe I'm biased because I started watching it in English. Maybe if I'd started watching it in Japanese, I'd feel differently. But Death Note's another one where I like the voice actors in either Japanese or English. It's so good. Like, you could go either way, really. But everything else, Japanese full send.
I'm trying to do more Japanese lately, just because I feel like a fake fan watching it in English. It was just so hard when the brain kicks in and you're like, oh, you gotta be productive. Okay, you can't be reading subtitles right now.
So it's about like retraining your brain to feel differently about like what it means to be productive, I guess. Which is like the hard part because our society sort of ingrains in us this idea that we have to be productive and you're not successful if you aren't.
Right.
It's like grind culture. There was an activist movement about ungrinding and just...
Really?
Yeah, I think it's just called ungrind. But it's about just focusing on yourself and not feeling bad about it. I think, you know, if we're going all the way back in history, like it was never meant to be like, work the 9 to 5, sleep when the sun, like, you know what I mean? Like, we've sort of created this society that we have, and it could be different, but it starts with us.
Agreed. I'm trying to like adapt like more like a strict schedule, like a day-to-day schedule. Like even if I'm not working like in studio, like I still get up at the same time. I'll get up, get ready, and then give myself those productive hours and attempt to be able to enjoy my free time better.
Yeah. That's actually a really great way to maintain your sleep cycle, is getting up and going to bed at the same time every single day. Even if you stay up till 3 in the morning, if you normally wake up at 8, get up at 8.
Yep.
You could take a nap to make up the lost sleep, but...
I used to love naps, and I literally can't even take a nap anymore because my brain's just constantly going. It's like, oh, you trying to sleep? Nope. You could be doing something else. You could be doing something more productive.
It's like, this is productive. I need my body to recover.
Right.
One of my colleagues likes to use the approach of challenging the thoughts, like taking them to court. And she's like, if you have this thought that's saying you need to be productive, how can we challenge that? And like, what evidence do we have for it? And so like it's an interesting way to sort of like combat those thoughts, and also like providing a rationale for the combativeness of it.
Okay.
It's like, no, I don't need to be productive right now because insert rationale here.
Definitely makes like 100% sense. Was being able to do it.
Yeah, being able to do it is a whole nother thing.
Without the big bold letters in my house.
Yeah, one of my favorite rappers, he had a line that said, a dream without a plan is just a wish. So, gotta have the plan. Can't just be like, oh, you know, I want to be able to relax more, but then you don't have a plan for it. Then it's just a wish.
Good, really good way to look at it. Jeez. What's something that people misunderstand about the anime culture?
That it's for kids. It's like, not all of it is. Very debatable. I know. It's like, are you sure? Yeah. I think anime is for everyone. And it's all about finding the right genre. Because just like music, you know, certain genres are not for everyone. But if you can find one that you like and latch onto it, then that's the point of exploration. And I think people just need to approach it with curiosity, not thinking that they're watching a kid's show.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you think about SpongeBob, that's a classic example of a show that was supposed to be for kids, right?
But there's so many innuendos in it, like makes it enjoyable for everybody.
There's very sus stuff in SpongeBob. So you go back and watch it as an adult versus as a kid, there's a lot that we missed.
What themes keep showing up in your tattoo choices?
I think like nature. I really like a lot of nature stuff, but also like with the Zelda and the anime tattoos, like my Zelda tattoo I have on my bicep is Meadow, which is a divine beast that looks like a bird. So that could be sort of argued with the nature theme. And this idea of flight. I also just think about like life and stuff. Like my Naruto one is like his phases of, you know, being a sad, isolated kid and then evolving into his dream of becoming a Hokage. And so like
the Hokage. That is my dream.
I want everybody to respect me. I will be Hokage one day. Believe it.
Still believe it. That gets me every time.
No, I love it so much. But yeah, I really think life is all about like chasing those dreams in those moments because it is short. And in the meantime, life happens. So don't wish your life away.
I love reflecting on Naruto anytime I'm thinking about like what my dreams are. Can I achieve them? And it's like, he did it. I can do it.
Yeah,
a little twerp.
Time and persistence.
But he did it all by the time he was 16. What the fuck? I'm so far behind.
Different culture, different expectations.
It's a tattoo idea that you've been sitting on that you haven't been committed to yet.
I don't know if there is one yet, honestly. I know at some point I want to start on my legs and my back. But I want to approach it with a much better plan than this.
Yes, that's why I'm here.
Yes. Yeah, so like I don't know if I want to sleeve, if I want to just do individual pieces again. So yeah, I'm going to be sitting on it for a while. But I don't have any active plans other than finishing up this arm here.
You know, my vote's always going to be for the bigger, bolder versus the patching.
Yeah.
It make the patching look good, yeah. But yeah, it's so much easier just to like to pick a couple things and go big. Yeah. Looks a lot better in my opinion too.
It flows better, for sure. Especially when one person does it versus seven.
One last question for this part: do tattoos feel more like expression, grounding, or armor to you?
I think expression. I feel like with every tattoo I get, I'm coming more into myself. Like I'm unlocking another piece or revealing a part of myself that I didn't know I had before. So that's sort of my vibe with it.
I agree. And you're wearing Naruto socks.
Oh yeah, Brian socks.
Alright, we're gonna get you all cleaned up and stuff, make sure everything's all saturated, and see you in part 3. Back to part 3. All finished with the tattoo. How are we feeling?
Feeling good, feeling excited. I am very pleased with how it turned out.
So you say it turned out exactly how you envisioned it?
Yeah, I mean, with the color, I didn't really have any expectations with, like in my head, because a lot of times I'm able to visualize kind of like how it's going to turn out, but I couldn't remember what we came up with last time. So I was like, I know there's going to be some reds and some, some off-whites and things, but it definitely exceeded anything that I had in my head already.
Oh yeah, that's always good to hear. If you want to check it out, it'll be over on my Instagram page at Colin Blessing Tattoos. Make sure you're following me. And while I'm at it, go ahead and hit subscribe to whatever you're listening on now. And if you could throw a rating on there for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. What's something you're proud of yourself for right now?
Getting through this week, keeping my appointment because I'm not a punk. Just the collaboration that brought all this together to, work on a patchwork project that was super unplanned at first, but now seems to have a little bit more of a goal and direction. So I'm looking forward to what else is going to come to life in this.
Oh yeah. What's the biggest myth about mental health work that you hear?
That it doesn't help. I don't need it. Yeah, like a lot of older adults, grew up in generations where it was not valued. It was not important. It was always buckle up your bootstraps, like just put a smile on your face, turn that frown upside down, and we still deal with parents like that. And so I think it's a belief in the relationships that can help promote wellness and working at it. It's not just you meet with someone a few times and they magically fix all your problems. It's a two-way street of collaboration and effort. kind of in the same way it is to get a new tattoo, is that communication, the collaboration, and a shared vision for what the goal is. And I think that applies to everything, mental health, art, whatever. So
Agreed. We talked on communication a little bit earlier, and it's one of my biggest values in life. And so many people can work on that drastically.
absolutely.
We also talked boundaries earlier. What's one boundary that you're really good at keeping?
I'm starting to get better at saying no. Knowing when I've reached my limit with work, with social engagement, with just stimulation throughout the day, and being able to recognize what my triggers are, and express that with others who I might be attracted. Be like, sorry, I really just can't do it. I got to focus on myself right now. It used to be a struggle, but I'm getting better at it the more I do it.
I'm right with you. It's hard to say no, especially when I got that people pleaser energy.
Mhm.
And I've got that majorly.
Yeah. And just like that, the drive to just get the project done. Sometimes it's okay to just take a break and come back to it later when you're refreshed.
And that's a big art step as well, being able to put it down for a little while, come back to it. Because more often than not, if you just sit there and overwork it, you're not going to be happy with it.
Mhm.
You get that 30-minute, 45-minute, couple hours, couple days, whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
And then you go back to it. It's like, I feel like a genius.
Yeah. A super cliche quote from the mental health world is like, you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's absolutely true. You have to recharge your own battery before you can help other people. It's the same thing on the airplane when they say, put on your oxygen mask before you try to help others. Can't help others if you're like, so.
What advice would you give somebody who's entering your field or thinking about it?
I would say make sure it's something you really want to do, and maybe speak to people who are in the field, maybe people in your area who are doing the type of work you think you want to do, and see if they'll let you shadow them to whatever extent they can, because of course there's confidentiality concerns. But making sure something you really want to do, because I think a lot of people, myself included, kind of jump into the work thinking, oh, I'll just do this. It seems simple enough. And it's not. It's really complex. Working with people is complex. They all have their own individual problems and concerns and visions that they want to work on. And it's really relational. If you're not a people person, it's not going to be the line of work for you. If you have a lot of trauma that you haven't processed yourself, working with traumatized people is not going to be good for you. It's going to trigger you and you're going to burn out so fast. So I think it's just making sure it's something you want to do, making sure your own issues have been at least sufficiently processed. Nobody's perfect. Like, that's never going to be the jumping off point. But if you can get close to something resembling a baseline or a level of comfort with discomfort and grief and pain and other people suffering, and be able to help them as well, and be able to unwind at the end of the day and not just carry all of that weight with you, then it's a good field to be in. Yay!
If you wear your headphones.
I know. I'd have it'd be clapping all over.
Right.
That was my boundary. No headphones.
What's one thing you wish everybody understood about emotional regulation?
It's not linear. A lot of people will say, oh, breathing techniques, and they can be helpful, but for most people, it's not enough. And some techniques don't work for everyone. So it's important to try a lot of them on for size and see what works, and also context too, because maybe in one context, doing a simple breathing technique is enough, but in another context, you want to try the shaking or, swaying or, any other number of strategies. So it's really just being willing, open, and ready to try new things and approaching it with curiosity.
Going back to talking about somebody entering in the field and stuff and tying into what you just said, I think I've talked about it a little bit on here before, but I used to work at a children's psychiatric unit, and I was a counselor there, and I had 6 little boys and then 6 older girls that I was working with in my building. And you're telling me. We had about 3 to 6 people, depending on the day and how they were acting in the room at like all times, being it was a residential unit, like everybody was just like there, and having to deal with every single person's different way of communicating and different ways of behaviors, and having to really align their goals with our day-to-day actions, because their counselors worked with them on their goals, and then we also had to work with them on their goals outside of the counselor. So we had like 3 to 4 goals per person. And yeah, it's super draining. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, you really got to have the heart to want to get in there and to want to do it. Like, I think I lasted maybe 6 months there, and I was like, yep, I'm done.
Residential is a completely different world. It is very difficult, but 6 months is a really long time to last in that field.
Yeah, one of the girls dislocated my arm restraint, and I said, yep, I'm done. We're getting out of here.
Yeah, and I mean, doing restraints is always so heartbreaking too, because you really want to use it as a last resort, and it doesn't feel good to have to restrain a kid.
And they kind of think that you're doing it just because you can, and it's like, no, it's not it at all. Like, you need to regulate yourself right now. And you're just being too much. Yeah, I worked with them. They would drop them whenever they could, and it was just like, get out of here.
That's the exact kind of person you don't want working in this field, because for them it's a power grab. It's let me stroke my ego a little bit, because maybe they come from an environment where that was an acceptable way to interact. So that just bleeds into the work too.
Right. And talking on how you were talking about dealing with your own trauma first and not allowing that to funnel into it. Like, a lot of people can't separate work and business.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, plus having trauma that you haven't worked with, like, yeah, you're taking it all out in those restraints, and you just want to feel that power because that's what was done to you or something. And it's just like,
it's subconscious. Sometimes, like, you don't even know that you're doing it. And I think projection is another thing to be wary of, is like, what I would do in one situation might not be what someone else would do or want to do. So it's really about that collaborative back and forth of what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what can we try different, and supporting whatever decisions they make.
100%. So moving into the tattoo, if this candlestick had a meaning sentence attached, what would it say?
Honestly, it's strange, but the first thing that came to mind was light my love. I don't exactly love it because it's like a Greta Van Fleet song, and I love the song, but I don't. But I think it's just sort of like, be open to like new sparks in life, or stoke your passions and find what those are. Chase the dreams.
I think the black hole really fits into that too.
Yeah.
It's like we got that super depth, and then that light just shining through. Such a good choice.
Be the light in the dark. I don't know.
Yeah. So we were gonna do it red at first, I think.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
And then she had the idea of doing it black, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's gonna work real well. And that's where that collaboration comes into play, and that's how you can know that you were truly part of your piece, and you can hold it bold and true.
Yeah.
What do tattoos give you that words don't?
I think it's just a different way to tell a story. Sometimes art speaks to people more than language can. And so I like to think that I have my own interpretation of what the art is, but it's also open to what other people interpret it to be. And I think hearing what other people's perspectives are can sort of add to the overall story, because it's not just like what I put into it or what the artist put into it. It's everybody's sort of collective thoughts and bringing the story to life in that way.
Yeah. How do you think this sleeve will feel once it's complete?
I think it will feel really exciting to have it all done. And I'm so looking forward to seeing the collective efforts of all of the people who've contributed to it and just having it sort of speak for itself. So, yeah.
You were talking about how you had your own interpretation of it and stuff. Having the sleeve done, having your own interpretation of it, having other people's interpretation of it. Like, where do you stand on that and people having other interpretations of your art?
I really think it just adds to it. I think it might shine light on an idea that maybe I hadn't thought of before. And I think it just adds to the overall meaning. I think tattoos should be meaningful. And sometimes people just get tattoos because they look cool or whatever, and maybe they don't have meaning, but then they experience a few years of life, and all of a sudden an experience that they had assigns meaning to it, or they can tie it to it in some way. And so I think that even like some of the older tattoos I have, like, they still sort of gain meaning over time as people ask questions about them. And it gives me an opportunity to reflect on where I was when I got that tattoo and kind of like how far I've come. So I think it's more of like a timeline of life and retellings of stories through other people's lenses.
So talking about reflecting maybe a couple years on or whatever, what do you hope this tattoo reminds you of years from now?
My manic year of getting a lot of ink without any forethought, and how it somehow worked out to be this really beautiful piece.
Oh yeah, that's such a good, just making sure you still like it all.
Yeah.
You got the confidence still. You're not regretting anything.
Yeah.
That's something I talk about a lot in my sessions to make sure you don't regret things, is doing more like timeless ideas and stuff. So that's why I do a lot of florals or a lot of like antique kind of things and lady faces and all that kind of stuff. Like that's something you're not really going to regret. Like it's always just going to be beautiful art with your meaning deeply embedded into it. And that's where a lot of people get lost, I think. And that's where you can find a mix of decorating your body versus the meaning. A lot of people think that you got to get exactly what you're trying to interpret things as. And I think that's where I can come in with my creativeness and kind of give you a picture of what it can be while still holding your meaning to it. Because this is all I do. So if you come in just wanting this, and this all combined, it's not going to look good. But being able to kind of portray just the ideas and then giving my opinion on it. And then that's again where the collaboration comes in and just makes you feel so much better about the piece. What would you tell somebody considering a meaningful sleeve?
Go to Colin. No, I'm serious. I recommended Colin for everyone who asks questions about my ink these days. I just had someone yesterday ask, "Where do you have a local artist? Where did you get that one done?" And I am like beyond excited to share. And it's not even just like the ink. Like, yeah, the ink is cool, but at the end of the day, it's like just the experience of being tattooed, because having been tattooed by 7 different people, there really aren't any experiences that stand out to me as much as the ones that I've had here with you. And I think that is sort of part of the meaning too, is like the people that we share the moments with. And yeah, so I can't remember if the question was a recommendation, but I would just recommend that you research your artists, find someone who's willing to collaborate with you, and full send.
Yes, I agree. I agree 100% on the researching and making sure that you're working with somebody who you truly want to work with, and don't be stuck in your local shops and shit. That's where so many people go wrong, is they don't want to travel, or they have to drive 3 hours to go get this piece, but it's a permanent art on your body forever. Like, you want to take it seriously. That's one of the reasons I don't really like the super tiny small tattoos that are like all like that. I feel like you don't vibe with the artists as much. Like, you don't have enough time to sit there, and there's not meaning behind it. And I don't know, like, some people just want to be stabbed with the needle, and I get that. And it's just like, let's just take the extra time and figure out something you really want, and let's dominate this body part and make you feel like a badass.
No, I felt like such a badass when I got my elbow done. I came into the session not expecting that at all, and left with my whole entire elbow tattooed. And once it healed and I got to see like the finished product, I was like, yes, this is it.
Hell yeah. And one last question I ask everybody too. If you could leave one sentence behind, like a tattoo somebody carries with them, what would it be?
Enjoy it.
There we
That's
go.
it.
Nice and simple. That's what I like. Teresa, thanks for coming back and trusting the process and sharing your story, both in ink and in conversation. I'm excited to keep building this with you. As always, fresh ink, fresh clarity, mild trauma. See you next time.